Tonight on Horner's podcast, the season finale, we travel to Red Vein. We're going to talk werewolf movies. We're going to get some reactions from patrons that are visiting Red Vein 1999. And you'll get our reaction from Red Vein 1999. You don't want to miss that. And we have an interview with the one and only Vincent DiSanti, who is the director, writer, and star as Ghost Jason in the Never Hike Alone series. We talk about Never Hike Alone 2, the previous movies, and what's to come. So make sure you stick around and watch. Spooky. Spooky, spooky.
Really?
This show is part of the Thrill Me Podcast Network. Experience more on Facebook and YouTube.
It's time for Haunters Podcast, a show dedicated to Halloween horror nights, haunted attractions, and all things spooky. Here are your hosts, Mr. Wonderful, Zach Hilton, and Brooke Hilton.
But.
Hey, bud! Hi! Oh, we're live! Hey!
We're not This is recorded.
Shh, they didn't know that.
They know now.
Now they know. Yeah, we're here. Red Vein Haunt, baby. Haunters Podcast. I'm wonderful. This handsome man right here that I can touch today is Zach.
I got media.
Look at you.
It's upside
But
down.
it's upside down.
There you go.
Look at
Media.
you.
I got media. We're
I
media.
didn't get media. I'm not going through the haunt.
You got me.
Oh, you're
as
going.
well. Stop it.
You're going.
The person that's trying to cover up their media pass, the lovely, talented Brooke.
That's me.
That's her.
Yes. And this hot woman right here is sitting on my lap tonight is the lovely, talented Brooke, too.
That's me, I guess.
Hey, let her do her own thing.
Oh,
You steal my shit all the time.
I never
First one
say
to
it.
curse.
but on the
Way to
real
go.
though,
We
we,
didn't even
timed
get-
that perfectly without even practicing.
Yeah.
We'll do it live. Not. Yeah, dude,
So unsettled.
here
Hi,
we
Ryan.
are as people walking past us.
We're probably in about an hour-ish.
Oh, they're
Why'd
getting
you
ready.
ask that?
They're getting ready.
Oh, God damn it.
No.
That was Ryan, owner of Red Vein
I
Haunt.
cannot.
Yeah, which
I
is where we
cannot.
are tonight. Red Vein
My
Haunts.
favorite place.
Uh-huh.
Someone's
Someone's got to love it.
I mean, we all love it. What is
No.
that?
On the real, and we'll get into BSing, we'll get into all that. This is the season finale of Honors Podcast. What a way to do this. Going to Red Vein Haunt, beautiful as always. And I can't believe we were allowed to go behind the scenes
Yeah.
and watch one of the rituals
Yeah.
to getting ready for the night. Like Kitty, love Kitty. Kitty came and was like, meow. Yeah, she said meow. And I said,
How about right
and I
meow?
was like, meow. And I said, right now. And we got to see some of the behind the scenes of how they get ready for the night. And
Yeah.
honest to God, you had the best reaction
I-
out of it. And it warms my horror heart that it
Uh-huh.
happened. What happened?
I said I was ready to cry, like in a good way,
Right,
but that it was like emotionally hitting me.
right.
I guess more so just because it was like we don't ever get to see that. A and B, I felt like you could feel the teamwork and like the family aspect of it, which I just loved. I loved
Right.
that. I loved being able to see what we've never seen before when it comes to that, like
Yeah.
kind of, you know, like behind the curtain type thing of being able to be like, so this is really cool and really scary all at the same time, because I felt like it may have been a trick and I could have been sacrificed during it. But
No, I tried to sacrifice Wonderful.
And they
He did.
did not bite.
No, he has
No,
too
but it was-
many clauses in his things.
it was really it was
a
really
radio thing, man.
interesting.
It was interesting.
yeah.
And it was very neat to get that curtain pulled, because immediately after, all the scare actors came to our table and made sure, oh yeah, you got to see a little bit of it, but you're still getting haunted tonight.
Oh yeah.
And that freaked me out a little bit.
Now you're marked.
Not going to
Now you're truly
I'm
marked.
not going to lie. Yeah,
We
and we
are-
get marked. I always get marked.
I'm not
You know
getting
what I
marked.
mean?
I'm not getting
Oh, I
Okay,
get
here's what
marked.
I will say. So we are
Spit
in
on my
a,
forehead. You know
there-
what I mean?
We are in a different location
Yeah.
than we usually are here. We
Yeah.
are literally at the exit when people come out of the haunt.
Yeah. We're going to get
Usually by the
reactions from
time
people
that they
tonight.
get to us, I feel like they could decompress.
Yeah.
They could like
Evaluate.
analyze and evaluate
Yeah.
their thoughts and
Yeah.
like get things together. And I feel like we are in this spot where there is no time. There's
I would-
no time.
No time.
No time.
I would like to get Brooks too feeling, because like, were you prepared to see like that behind the scenes kind of stuff?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Like, does it help you going through a haunt, or was it actually a little more like, oh no, they're going all for blood?
The second.
The second.
I feel like
I like to say a lot
years
of words.
ago,
The blood thing.
The blood.
years ago when I first started going to haunts, it would have helped me to see the people like talking to each other.
Right.
But seeing the teamwork, I know it's going to be absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
But you also get the feeling that like, yeah, they're scare actors, but just the way they move together, they could all sacrifice you
You're right.
like in any second.
So,
Right.
I know we said we weren't really going to dive deep, and so all I'm going to say that was scary was that they were stretching.
Yeah, they stretched.
I mean, they're limber.
All I was gonna say is if you've
I
ever been a
always-
theater kid, it brought back so many.
Hey, now Brown Cow.
It brought back many
Oh,
theater.
no,
It brought back
Brown
theater memories.
You
to
say
me, like-
theater. I say this is
I-
exactly what Michael
Wrestling.
Myers does on Halloween night.
But on the
The
real,
arsonist had oddly shaped feet. That's when Michael actually speaks.
if you are stretching,
Yeah.
that means
Your body's in it.
you are going to be running after
go.
me and terrifying me. And the fact that right now I can hear sounds.
Yeah, it's happening. So we're starting the show a half hour before.
I
they
know.
go.
So why?
So eventually, in about 20-ish minutes, we should see the first set of people
Yeah,
come out,
yeah,
and
yeah,
maybe
yeah.
we'll grab their thoughts on it. Was it scary? Was there something that really just
Stood out to you.
stood out?
Yeah.
No, I was with the
You
stood
know
out. I
what's
was
going to
going,
be
"Ooh,
cool
okay."
though is that from this like location we'll
Yeah.
hear more screams
Nope.
because we haven't
Oh, yeah, you're
heard
right.
that.
That is
in
not
the
cool.
back.
Because
Yeah.
where we've been before, we
We
have
heard
been
laughter,
at the
we
barn.
heard talking,
Buy some apple
decompressing.
donuts. Like that's all we
I'm
ever
a little bummed
heard.
we're not
You'll
going to get to buy
hear
apple
Well,
donuts
go get
now.
apple donuts. They're right over there.
That's right.
You
I
have a media pass.
You have a
pass.
media
Oh
pass. You
my
just come back
God.
in.
I almost hit
in,
myself
like,
in the
groupies.
face with the
Literally.
media pass.
We're groupies. Hey.
So,
Oh,
what an
yes.
intro. It's her, she guesses, and I guess this is Hunter's podcast.
Oh yeah.
Hunter's Pod on Instagram,
Really?
ThrowMePodNet on Treads, on Insta, on Facebook.
We're everywhere but X,
It's going to give
We
it to you.
formerly known as Twitter. As apparently, if you're a passive aggressive asshole, that's how you say it, and that's how I say it. X, formerly Twitter.
It's going to give it to you. So,
Oh my
let's...
God.
Gonna
What?
give it
Yep.
Big DMX fan. Just
Big
like
DMX
me.
fan. Okay, so
yes.
I'm gonna say this is bothering me, and I know that we're like,
Oh, I can always mess with shit. What'd you do?
Listen, don't be revealing our
moved it
playlist.
over.
Are you good?
Yeah. So you keep kind of going out of frame.
Oh, that's fine. You're out of frame completely.
Oh my gosh!
I got
what a
so
live-
much
See, it's
editing.
live. We're doing it live.
Editing. No,
There we
I'm
go.
editing that.
Oh.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
And the cut.
There's no reason to have a clap. Do you hear the wolves?
That's kind of hot.
Bro. Okay, let's
All
talk
right,
Red
because,
Vein.
Yeah, that's a good
99.
thing that you brought up the wolves.
Thank you. So, Red Vein last year, 1987, I was a huge fan for. Remember we did the halfway to Halloween
Yeah, we did.
gimmick?
Yeah.
And they had like camp counselors, and I was like, oh man, I hope they do that as their thing. They did. They so much have kept in line of continuing Now we're in 1999, and they've given it away on promotion. You can watch it on the merch.
Yeah.
You can get the flamethrower that's right inside there. Werewolves is a big part of this year's theme.
Yeah.
And for me, I love the fact that they went with an iconic animal that is in horror.
Yeah.
Because Red Vein does a lot of witch stuff. They've done
Yep.
the vampire. And, like, I love that.
A lot of Richmond-based stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
I
Like,
love the
A lot of
fact.
like, what is it, folklore?
Yeah, the
Folklore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
area.
But I love the fact that we're moving on to another entity of the horror world.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm excited to go through 1999. Spoiler alert.
I'm ready
The
for Limp Bizkit.
facade is full moon rave. So it means like people have taken over this lost land
Yeah.
because in 1987 this camp went extinct. And it's been abandoned this entire time. And now some people have gotten together and being like, hey, we're going to throw a rave at the old property. Sounds very Killer Reunion.
Well, hey, Jethro.
And I just love the fact that they're continuing the story that we have started. What's wrong?
Did y'all
What are you
hear
doing?
that?
Yeah, oh, I heard it.
I feel like I'm on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Like, a scare actor
Right
Yeah.
side.
The
is
right side. Thank you.
going to come up next to me, and I'm going to pee my pants.
It'll be a good time.
And you can find those on our T-Public.
Or you can go to the Red Vein merch shop. I can buy you Red Vein panties.
Do they have depends?
Depends.
It's kind of hot that they got.
But no, they
Wait, really?
do have
Red
panties.
Vein panties?
Yeah, no, Kitty showed me.
Well,
That's why I made the flamethrower joke, because they have Naughty Little Lamb underwear that you can buy right now.
Naughty little lamb.
Yeah,
Stocking stuff.
and I'm not going to stuff that stocking. So, you guys, 1999 Werewolves, where we at on it? Wonderful, go.
I'm stoked. I love werewolves. I love An American Werewolf in London. But this one kind of gives me a little bit of like American Werewolf in Paris feels.
Oh.
Since we're going to the 90s. So hopefully we get like Jim Morrison's grave in there and stuff like that.
Okay.
And then, you know, dude man that hasn't been doing stuff since That Thing You Do pops up. And he's like, hey, remember
He's
me?
in Steve Zahn's videos recently. They're
Oh,
doing
good for
cons
him.
together.
Good for him.
Good. Steve Zahn.
Good for both of them.
Tom
They
Everett
need it.
Scott.
There we go, Tom Everett Scott. I couldn't even remember his name. I just remember him as the drummer from That Thing You Do.
Zach's movie show.
Follow him on Twitter.
Get Zach's in the Future shirt with that Twitter handle.
I
X
saw
handle
a photo of
on
my
the
Zach
back.
in the
I'll
Future
give it
shirt
to you.
yesterday.
Zach's gonna give it to you.
Damn.
Yeah, now, oh my God, Zach Hilton is ZAX.
Oh my god. But okay, so werewolves, I'm stoked. I love werewolves. There's
Yeah.
so much that can be done here. We've seen what they've done here, so I'm excited to see what they do with the werewolf aspect of things.
Right.
And seeing that little behind the scenes, yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's fun.
stoked. I'm stoked.
Good?
Oh, yeah, yep, I'm great. Everything's
So excited.
Millhouse.
So excited.
I love
They
it.
are.
I
She's
love
it.
distracted over here by the sound.
I am so distracted. I am so scared. I cannot
Straight to
process anything. Like, I don't know if I can do this.
Yeah, I feel this.
You can
So,
put your
we
back
are
into it.
here, and we
Oh
knew
my god.
you are going to
What did
give
I
us-
say?
If you want.
I'm the asshole now.
Gonna give it to you.
Our next show. Am I the
Jesus.
asshole?
Am I the asshole? We gotta
That's our
wait till
next
next
shirt.
season. That's the finale.
He's wonderful, the asshole.
Yes, there is no
Like and
finale.
comment.
There is no.
Like and
That should
comment.
be a poll.
Poll me.
Yeah,
on our
and
Instagram.
here's the thing: the chat is not allowed to vote. Michelle's not allowed to vote.
chat.
None of our
Love the
Patreons
chat.
are allowed to vote.
Because they're all. Listen,
Because they're all voting
They're all
based
Team
on your.
Brooke.
Avi.
They're voting on based on
Everyone
how
is
much
Team
you
Brooke.
are on the fucking chat.
That's what
Hey, he popped on there this week.
I did. I did.
Yeah, you did. All
Every
right,
few months.
every few months. Just come back, re-download the app, come back, buy, delete that. So
Thousands
let's.
of messages and move on.
Good luck. So it is a werewolf event, and by the way, when this drops, you have Halloween weekend to come check this out. Red Vein Hunt, redveinhunt.com. Check it out. But let's get into werewolf movies. I don't know if you have a specific werewolf movie in mind that you love. But
Yeah, I do.
Oh no.
you do.
Oh no! Oh no! Because
I think it's gonna be
I
the
was
same.
giving her the
I've got
look
my
of like,
top three. My top
no.
three.
Top
Is it
three
the
what?
same?
Iconic.
no,
Iconic.
do not say those films
So
right
Brooke
now.
too
At the same time.
is starting.
Ready? No. I think we're gonna say
I
the
think
same
they're gonna say the
movie
same movies.
at the same
Yep.
time.
I don't know.
Okay, but what's your
First one.
Your number-
Underworld.
Okay. that's
Oh
not
no! Oh, she surprised me. I forgot she's
Iconic.
seen Underworld. I forgot she's seen Underworld.
What?
Thank God. Thank
Oh
God. it was
no,
not
get
that.
ready
Wolf.
for my other two.
No, don't say
Okay,
it.
well that would be my number one show. Dylan O'Brien. We've already had this conversation like multiple years in a row. Dylan O'Brien, that version.
Fuck
But no,
you, Dylan O'Brien. You stay
iconic
away.
movies. Underworld,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Van Helsing,
Oh, okay. I'll take it. I'll take it. I'll take it.
and Blood and Chocolate.
I was gonna say Twilight.
Oh,
so-
that
That's
too.
where I thought she was
Too.
going. That's what scared me.
That's
Can
true.
we talk about
Dang
Blood
it.
and Chocolate? The porn?
Oh.
All that movie was.
Oh, she was just naked some of the time, dude.
Some of the
Some of
time.
the time.
90% of the
She
film.
wasn't naked. There was a lot of hair on the body.
It's such a good film.
Blood and Chocolate, you know? Wow, didn't see that coming. I love that
Oh, shit.
Underworld did get played because
I love
lichens for
Underworld.
life. You know what I
Oh,
mean?
yeah.
So-
I forgot.
Here's-
Oh, thank God.
Wow.
Thank you, Kate Beckinsale.
Now,
Here's my-
Brooke OG
No,
Here's my
with
issue.
her top three.
There are
And I just forgotten it's a porn. Blood and Chocolate isn't a porn.
It is
right?
not a porn. It is not a porn. It is a movie.
Like,
But it's a hard. It's a little. It's a little.
so cute.
I
Guys,
never saw it go inside and out.
Deep Throat.
Okay,
Deep Throat was a real movie, right?
so here's
I watched it for the wings.
The Wangs? Yes, I know you did.
I just learned a lot tonight. Guess what
Somebody.
we're watching this Halloween season?
okay. So
It was a Hooters.
here's my issue.
It was a Hooters ad.
Thank you.
Newsflash:
Yeah,
I forget when I have seen
of
things.
course.
Ah,
Which is why you're going to say your top three picks
Too.
are
So, Teen Wolf. Like how can
really?
you not? Yes,
Wait,
of
no,
course.
the
Wait,
show
no,
or
the
movie?
show.
The movie.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know.
Okay,
One
so
or two, TOO.
okay, we know you like two,
I know.
but I like one.
Oh, you like Scott Howard? Okay.
Wait, what?
Scott Howard. That's Michael J. Fox.
Oh yeah.
His character, Scott
I was
Howard.
like, wait, who's Scott
Jason
Howard?
Bateman's Todd Howard.
I have not shown you the Teen Wolf film, Jack.
Okay,
So
so
he
You've never seen
So-
Teen Wolf?
I've seen Teen Wolf, and he
No,
judges
No,
me.
no,
no.
No, he judges me for it, but he's never shown me the actual thing.
The movie.
So, like,
Yeah,
what
she's
am
only
I
known the
supposed to
show.
know?
No, but this
okay.
is the thing, though.
But
Like,
again,
I
Dylan
feel
O'Brien.
bad for you. Not feel bad. That's not the right word.
I do.
Coming for you,
I'm
Dylan
pitiful.
O'Brien.
I feel for you because you're going to see a different light version of the movie.
That's true, and I'm
That's
just used
not-
to porn.
but you're-
you know.
There
Blood
you
and
go.
chocolate. Big and
But-
chocolate.
So going back,
Big bad wolves.
I have watched Twilight recently, so that's where I'm at.
Yeah,
I
you
love
have been
Twilight.
in the bedroom watching Twilight. I was like,
ABC
Support.
Family?
you know it's so bad. You're watching it in the bedroom.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Or it's so good.
Yeah, I
Watching
come
it
in and I'm like,
Yeah.
what are you doing watching Twilight?
Team Jacob.
No, stop.
Yeah, that it's the opening of not another teen movie.
No,
No.
I
No,
love those
it's-
movies. I should have said that.
I like
really thought
the
I was
second
thinking
one.
about horror.
Eclipse,
though.
is it no, New Moon.
New Moon is the second
I
one.
like New
Yeah.
Moon. Come
But
at me.
so here's also my issue. I know that I have
You came
seen
at me.
other werewolf movies,
All right.
but I don't remember them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's on
But
track.
I love that
That tracks.
you listed something, so I'm
Thank
proud
you.
of you.
Yeah, you did.
Wonderful. Yes. Tell me about the Academy Award winning movies you love.
Let me tell you,
I hear
I
chains.
love Jack Nicholson being
Oh,
like
Wolf?
Wolf.
Wolf.
Yeah, Wolf is actually really
You
good.
like
I was
Wolf
joking.
on
I was
Wall
joking
Street?
for a second.
Yes,
but-
you can say Wolf on Wall
Okay,
Street.
that
That's
would
your
be a good
favorite.
one.
I was joking for a second, but that is a great one. But I haven't
I do
watched
like
that film
Wolf.
in forever. But American Werewolf in London, I mean, that is
Staple.
the classic.
It's staple.
Hence, when you say Academy Award winning, Rick Baker won the first ever special effects award for that one. You're welcome.
Nerd alert.
We won that as well. Every year we go to HHN. You know that.
Fucking nerd.
Right. You let her come on one show and she's dunking on me.
She's dunking, bro.
Love you.
Hey, is
Join
she
in.
Duncan.
Is she from Boston? Is she from Boston? Because she's dunking on you,
Though
bro.
you weren't a Ben Affleck fan
No,
like
she-
me.
J-Lo.
No. Jennifer Garner for life, yo.
Oh, wow. Electra.
All right.
Yes, Electra. Obviously.
Can't wait for Deadpool 3
Obvi.
now. So American Werewolf in London, of
Yeah.
course.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw out because Werewolf is involved in this.
Underworld.
Abbott and Costello.
Of course he did. Of
Dude,
course
come
he
on.
did.
It's
Of
all
course
the
he
monsters.
did.
It is a classic Abbott and Costello.
All right. Well,
His
my
parents are really
picks.
old.
Yeah.
Oh
what are
my
your
God! You leave the wonderful parents out of this. So what if Papa Wonderful loves Abbott and Costello?
Obviously.
Obviously,
Had
I've
to.
seen them in the army. I've seen them do a bunch
Let's
of
keep
things.
on track.
So obviously, Teen Wolf 2 is going to be a pick of
Yeah, that's
mine.
on yours.
It's gotta be.
Gotta be.
Jason Bateman for life.
Dylan Ryan for life.
Monster Stomp. Monster Stomp. You know, Monster Squad. Monster Squad because Wolfman's got
Give
nards.
me a crap about Abbott and Costello.
Because mine was made in the last 40 years.
Mine's a classic.
Oh my god. Anyways, Wolfman's got nards in
Yeah.
Monster
Have I seen
Squad.
this?
Now,
Okay.
so it's not done by Universal, but it's all the classic monsters. Dracula, Mummy,
Oh.
Creature from the Black Lagoon, Wolfman.
uh-huh.
They're all in it, and it's kids versing those monsters.
Okay.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Now, if I have to go, my last werewolf movie, I don't like using American Werewolf in London, but I kind of fucking have to.
You have
because
to.
We went through that
is-
house.
We did go through that house,
So
and
good.
what a house!
What a
and
house.
we got
What
to
a
see
subway
those
scene.
wolves again in the Chupacabra house.
Yeah.
Remember? They were reused in Chupacabra, so that was good stuff. For me, those are the quintessential, I guess.
Yeah.
So Twilight, fucking Underworld,
Yeah,
Teen Wolf,
quintessential.
quintessential.
Now, where do we stand on
Quintessential.
Benicio del Toro?
I like that movie. I like Wolfman, and I don't mind fighting for that movie.
I don't hate it.
I don't
but
mind it.
It's definitely no Mummy with Tom Cruise.
Definitely no Underworld.
Definitely no.
Twilight.
Twilight.
Yes,
that's
Twilight.
Oh, Blood and Chocolate.
Van
For
Helsing.
sure. Van Helsing.
Blood and
Helsing
Chocolate.
is a good film. I like
No,
it.
Cheers.
it's
I
not.
have it on
It
DVD.
makes me cry. Don't judge me.
Kate Beckinsale. You're a big Kate Beckinsale
Loves
person.
Kate Beckinsale. Why do you think I put a ring on it?
I am. I love her.
I'm like, hey babe, want to watch Kate Beckinsale tonight?
She dated Pete Davidson.
She's like the female version of Leo. But I totally
Oh.
support it in her case.
Leo DiCaprio.
Yeah,
gosh,
she
you
dated
hear-
a Matt Rife,
Do you
19-year-old.
hear? Oh, love Matt Rife. Do you hear this?
She dated him.
Kate Beckinsale.
Yeah. We don't talk about. I tell her not to talk about that and pee with me because I don't want to know about that. I like to think of her just as hooking up with Sandler and Click. That's the worst
true.
I want to go. It's the furthest I want to go on.
Because it's the close to your body type.
Wait, you not like
Jewish
Matt
kid
Rife?
from.
You don't like Matt Rife?
I don't hate Matt Rife, but
He's
listen,
funny.
he's too hot for comedy. So
Oh, that's true. It's
Oh
really
my
hard
God.
for people to take him
yeah,
seriously.
it's hard to take him
Yeah, it's
seriously.
got to
He's
be
so
hard
hot.
to be this generation's Dane Cook.
That's how I feel as well. So when he marries a
No, but
19-year-old when he's
She
50,
dated him when he was freshly 19.
Okay. Well,
Freshly 19.
freshly,
Brooke.
she said.
Or was he 18?
Brooke,
Yeah,
too. She came in with that fucking lingo. All right, that's cool. So that's werewolf
Anyways.
talk.
Werewolf.
That's
Talk amongst
werewolf.
yourselves. All the hair and the fur.
That's
do you
right.
like your werewolves with
You
nails?
howl on a full
Or do you
moon,
like
you
your
only
werewolves
purr
in
on
a
a
fur?
half moon.
I feel like this is where I'm gonna make somebody edit. You could put in our photo that we will end up eventually taking with a werewolf.
For kink. The
Kink?
for kink was the
photo?
flash.
Oh, the flash for the photo?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Great
yeah.
photo.
Great
Oh my
I
God.
heard a scream.
Here we go.
Hey,
I
let's
heard a
go.
scream. We will be right back.
So cold.
At the end of this, we will have our reaction. We're going to get more people's reactions
Yeah.
before we go through. Also, Vincent DiSanti is on the episode. Never Hike Alone. What an interview.
Oh my-
Fantastic.
What a
times.
movie!
What a movie. He's never seen it.
I still haven't seen it yet.
I've
Well, that's
seen
a
it.
lie.
Never
By the
Hike
time
Alone
this
2.
airs,
I don't know. I don't
Probably.
know what he did.
Maybe.
I don't know either.
Okay, I'd like to give a big welcome to my guest right now. He is a filmmaker, director, writer, serial killer in some movies. You will find that out. I have the one, the only Vincent DiSanti. Thank you for coming on Haunters Podcast.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
Oh man, like congratulations automatically for the 1 million views that this sucker Never Hike Alone 2 has gotten. You must be thrilled to get that within like its first 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's a big surprise. I mean, I knew that there would be backers there. I knew that there would be interest there. I knew I'd maybe get up to, like, Dylan's just did 100,000 in the first weekend. I was like, okay, that's good tracking. If we're doing that, that means we're doing the good things.
Right.
I figured Never Hike Alone 2 with the built-in audience and it being a feature that it could do a little bit better, maybe 200, 250 to get the first weekend out. And we did that, but it ended up, I don't know, got into the algorithm or whatever that is. I don't really pay attention too much to that stuff. I just worry about what I make. So that's usually to my detriment, honestly. But I just, it caught wind. And then all of a sudden we were going from, we were averaging, I think 100 and probably like 50 to 60,000 plays over the weekend. And then all of a sudden it literally in 48 hours, we were getting counts of like 400,000, 450,000, I think was the max. And then it started to ramp back down, but to get all the way up to 1 million within the first 8 days is a big surprise. I mean, 1 million for small channels is a big number. I know that like Dead Meat's kill count of this will probably get 1 million in the first 10 minutes, but and burn me to death. You know what I mean? But
right.
It'll also drive traffic to us, things like that. But for a brand that's up and coming, and these films that started with, I want to say our first weekend of Never Hike Alone, we got somewhere around 40,000 views for Never Hike Alone 1, and then it slowly took about a year and change to get up to 1 million. I mean, it was a long haul. And then we got it and we've been proud of it. We've since hit 4 million with that one. So to hit 1 million in the first, 8 days with this, we're already up to 1.15 million, 10 days in. And then, now it's coasting at like 50,000 plays a day, which, that's going to add up, and hopefully we'll just keep tacking up numbers and showing studios that this is what fans want, and hopefully get a chance to take a crack at the real thing one day.
I'm glad you said that, because when I watched it and saw that it was like feature length, I was so excited, because this movie feels just like a Friday the 13th movie. I don't know how exactly you were able to encompass the 80s feel with like the way movies are shot today, but it all felt so connected. Like, did you have that process going in? Did you think about, okay, I'm trying to go for retro, but I need to make sure like I have all these gorgeous shots?
I think it was kind of a product of it being an independent production where we're limited. I mean, there are certain things that we can do with the budget that we had, but at the same time, being as big of a film as we were, shooting 15, 16 days on such a small budget, our setups and things had to be pretty simple, but still clever. And so I think that's where the retro feel comes in, because we don't get to do a lot of the things that modern films do, where they put a camera on a techno crane and they're flying it around, and you got a steady cam doing these long single takes that are going all through the shots. When you try to do those things at an independent level, they don't come out as solid. And even some of the things that we do, I'll notice it saying, like, working on a production that's like $1 million production, and how a crane move works, or how camera movement works, or how drone movement works. And what we do, we're doing our best to replicate that with what we have. And so when you look back at the 80s films, there's stuff that is doable today with today's technology that it took the industry standard technology back in the 80s to achieve. So we've caught up from the independent market to about that level. Plus, we wanted it to sort of have that feel. We were taking a lot of inspiration from the older movies. And in fact, I jokingly have said this a bunch of times, but like, I was basically making a kaiju movie. And so I just got into this mood of making a kaiju film, and I started to treat Tommy and Jason like monsters, each going to their respective corners and, plotting their course and then coming together at certain moments of the film for fights and then going away from each other and the mayhem that happens in between. It really just sort of lent itself to that. So I went to that sort of style. And then I think the rest of it's just my natural aesthetic. I grew up on 80s movies. I grew up on 80s action. There's a lot of action in this movie. So I took a lot from the inspiration that I had as just a film watcher growing up as a kid. But then with the advent of the technology that we do have, we were able to push it even further.
Right. Is it weird to kind of someone you grew up watching Tom Matthews, and now you're writing a complete arc for him, like through these 3 films, Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, Never Hike Alone 2. Is it wild to sit there and actually, man, I'm directing Tommy. Like I'm giving him a very proper send-off through these films.
I mean, it's a dream come true. I didn't think that when I made Never Hike Alone 1, before I had signed Tom, that I'd even get a chance to work with him. And then when we got a chance to work with him, I thought it was a good chance to prove that we sort of had, a good idea of how to handle these characters. And honestly, when he said yes, I mean, the wheels started turning. It was like, where do we go from here? I mean, even for that short little cameo in Never Hike Alone, I had to make it make sense. I didn't just want to throw him in there and just not think about it.
Right.
I wanted to do what the franchise had never done, which is think ahead. Think like, hey, if I get another chance to do this, where does Tommy fit into this world, and what is his story, and why hasn't he seen Jason, and like all of these things. And so like all of these doubts that I would cast on a storyline like that as a fan, I cast on myself. And so I have to come up with good answers to kind of answer my own questions before I will go forward with an idea. So, it's like when I had to come up with the backstory of him being a paramedic, and knowing that I was really trying to jump off the Paramount series that I do count 7 and 8. A lot of people will say, hey, Never Hike Alone 2 is a direct sequel to part 6. Yeah, kind of. But 7 and 8 happened too. Right. We don't really talk about them. They're like the stepchildren that sleep in the basement, that we don't give much credence to, but they're still there. There's still events that happened. We can't really explain what happened. You know what I mean? So so we just sort of ran with that. And it was like, where was Tommy? Where was Tommy through all of this? Because obviously if Jason's back, Tommy's going to want to be involved. But by the time, everything happened with Tina in part 7, he shows up too late. And if he was there and he didn't have access and he wasn't a paramedic yet, he would see the paramedics. He would see the fire department. He would see all these people behind the crime scene markers, realizing that's my ticket in. Right. That's how I get past this crime scene marker, and Rick can't do anything about it. So lo and behold, he goes through all this training, he becomes an EMT, he's working in the ambulance, and what happens? Jason catches a boat and takes off to Manhattan. Right. And so I think one of the things I loved about the story that I was building for Tommy is that he's this Don Quixote, just like charging at windmills, and he's just whiffing. Yeah. And I can't tell you how long I've been waiting to show people the opening of Never Hike Alone 2, when he's going up into the mountains and he's kicking down the doors and he's looking for Jason, and he's looking for this fight that he can't find, and it's driving him crazy. And in the meantime, as long as he's doing this, he's just drawing more and more attention to himself. He's becoming more and more of a suspect to Rick. And I think that's sort of by design. I think Jason wants it that way. Jason doesn't want to face off against Tommy because he knows that even if he beats Tommy, it's going to be a fight. And and Tommy's going to land some blows. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like Apollo Creed and Rocky 2. Yeah, he wants the rematch, but does he really want the rematch? Like Jason's happy kind of hiding in the background. So with Tom, we had to come up with this excuse for him to not just be a Jason hound, finding Jason every other week and fighting him and continuing this thing, that it had to be a genuine surprise when Jason showed up. So it was very important at the beginning of Never Hike Alone 2 to set this tone that Tommy's giving up. Tommy is just sort of seeing that, like, he's not doing any good. He's been going out there, he hasn't found Jason. Then what does he do? He bumps into, and he realizes all of his searching, all of his fighting, and all of his posturing and, puffing his chest out didn't help this woman's child from surviving a day in the woods. Right. And he's failed another person. He's failed another person in town. This innocent woman who just wanted to bring her son to safety, ends up losing her kid, and how Tommy feels on his watch. So I felt like through that arc, we had a real character. We didn't have a caricature, which I feel like a lot of, people would sort of expect like Tommy, the gun wielding maniac who's running around the woods shooting Jason and like being a badass and over like Rambo. Like that's not Tommy.
Right.
Tommy's a normal person. Like Tommy is not Jamie Lee Curtis from Halloween Ends, where she's a trained assassin training in some backyard home. He's a normal dude who's got to pay rent, like got to put a life together, who's dealing with guilt.
It's
and I
kind
think
of like
that was much more interesting to kind of not overpower him and make him fallible and show that he's a broken person. And then through the process of telling the story of Never Hike Alone 2, how he heals these wounds, how he makes up for those losses, and how he puts everything on the line, his life, to save this town and make up for what he did, and him to admit it too, to admit that he screwed up, to admit that this is all his fault, is it's a long journey for someone to make, especially someone, Tommy at this age is towards the end of his life. And so he's living with all these regrets. So I think that grounding him and making him more relatable and more fallible made him a much better character versus just making him some hero who swoops in at the last minute trying to save the day.
We talked a lot about Tommy Jarvis, but on the other side, Ghost Jason, who you play, like, what is it like donning the hockey mask and getting into that mode? Like, you've already done it in 2 of your other movies. Now you're here with this final fight. What is it like being Jason?
It's a lot of fun. And in fact, technically I played Jason 5 times.
5?
I played him. Yeah. So actually 6, 7. I don't know. I've played him a bunch of times. So I'm just counting him.
Kane Hodder's going to be pissed.
So there's Never Hike Alone 1.
Right.
And then I did the Disappear music video, which was I think some of the best acting as Jason that I've done. Like I feel like that was all acting with me there. Then Never Hike in the Snow. And then we did something called The Lost Tapes, which was like this experimental found footage film that I made with the guys at Odyssey of the Odd, where we like basically these like YouTubers break into Camp Crystal Lake, get themselves into a situation and then have to escape Crystal Lake with Jason chasing them, and it's all found footage. It's all filmed with a phone.
Oh,
and
wow.
It's really cool. It's very like the lowest budget thing we did. It doesn't make a lot of sense because it was sort of an experiment, but we released it because it was a lot of fun. Right. And there's some great kills in it, so it was really cool. And of course we did Never Hike Alone 2, and then I did something called Jason Meets the Wolfman. And so I played Jason in that as but that was just a trailer. So that's a trailer on the Wampston Film site that we have there. Jason Meets the Wolfman or Versus the Wolfman, which was a concept trailer that we did by a good friend of mine, Stephen Wolf. That was his project. Right. But yeah, so I played Jason a bunch of times, and every time it's just a lot of fun. I always liken it to putting on the Iron Man suit. You're fully enveloped. You know, I have gloves on, I have a hood on, I have the mask on my face. You can't see me, you can't see my expressions. You can't see where I'm looking, and it's, from the inside, I just sort of feel it, and I just want to emote it. And of course I have to share this role on the Never Hike series on the 3 major films with Brian Forrest, who does a very good job of doubling me. We work together in tandem. In fact, if you follow Cody Wilkins, our effects artist, he actually just recently released a little behind the scenes of Brian and I working together, stepping through.
I'm so sorry.
It's all good. I love dogs. Stepping through sort of like the steps for one of the final kill sequences and stuff like that. So it's definitely a challenge to share the role with somebody. It's by necessity. Because I can't always be behind the mask. There's sometimes so many technical setups that if I'm not behind the camera, then the setups take twice as long. And all of a sudden we're fighting for time, versus if Brian's in there, I can just direct him through the action. I can get him through the beats, and I can get camera through the beats. And then I'll step in for a little bit more of like the bigger acting moments, or, a kill, or, every now and then a shooting night will be small enough where I'll just play Jason all night. So there's definitely a mix of the two.
Did you, and this might be weird, but did you actually like go to any of the other actors and ask if there was, any hints or tips?
I mean, no, not really. I've watched enough of the films to know sort of what looks good on screen and what doesn't. And I won't sit here and lie and say that we haven't goofed a few times. There's a couple steps that I haven't been embarrassed by, or that, I think it's just a constant watching of it and making sure that no matter what you do, Jason is imposing and scary, and you just want him to look as as powerful and scary as at all times. Um, and the real tough part is when you have to break him down into the character of who he is around his mother, because that's when all of that fades. Like, he's no longer putting on a front that he's this monster. He's a little boy again. And so I think to see that transition is actually one of the nuanced things that is very hard to do with the character. And, only a few, actors have done, Steve Dash to do it a little bit. I think Derek Mears did it a little bit. So there's been little hints and flashes of it, but I don't think people have really seen that other side of Jason, of like who he was before he was the murderer. And so we try to let that shine through in the Never Hike series. It's kind of our added touch to what we do more than a lot of the actors. I've talked to the other actors. I've obviously, worked with Kane. I've worked with CJ. I've met Steve and some of the other guys, obviously friends with Doug. So we talk about it. We really haven't talked about, I think it would be fun to sit down and talk about the portrayal of him. You know what I mean?
Right.
To see how they see it. I've obviously listened to Kane talk about it a bunch. I got to work with Kane on the Friday the 13th video game when we directed the free kick kill.
Yeah.
I had to work with him through that, and just being there on site for that was, I listened to a lot of what he had to say about the character. And I do like a lot of his theories. I think he plays it a very specific way. He's got the big deep, like the tilt. He really emphasizes that stuff. I think Ghost Jason's a little bit more subtle, but I also think Ghost Jason is a little bit more. He is the Clint Eastwood and El Torino of Jasons, I guess you could say. He's older. He just doesn't want to take any shit. He's not taking any extra movements. And so,
get off my lawn.
Yeah, he's not as energetic, I guess you could say. And I think that like Ghost Jason really starts off slow, and then he slowly but surely turns into a freight train. And once she gets going, we get to see what happens with all the fun stuff in Never Hike Alone too.
Oh yeah, no, you guys went ballistic with the kills. Like, I don't want to spoil any of them just in case if someone's checking this out beforehand, but there are some vicious kills. What is it like filming one of those?
Oh, that was fun. I mean, the big kill at the end of the movie for Jason at the hospital, that was the most fun. And in fact, we had sort of had a malfunction the first time we tried to shoot that thing, and we shot one or two attempts at it, and then we were running out of light and we couldn't shoot anymore, and so we had to save it for another day. So his actual kill was filmed maybe months later. And I can't tell you, like, it was one of those things where like, we got to redo that. So when we got to the chance to redo it, trust me, I came in there like, we're going to make this one count. This one's not going to look bad. Like, we promised the audience something special.
Yeah.
So let's make this something special. Like, I wanted a very specific thing where I was like, I just want blood to reach both ends of of the screen. And Cody looked at me, the guy who does all of our fabrication, and he said, I got you. And so him and Nora worked hard on that, and we were able to up the old tip to him, and they're like, sorry, we wired it. So it would just explode as big as possible. So that was a lot of fun. I smashed the hell out of that thing. And it was a lot of frustration I was taking out on that dummy head. So
I'm sure because it looks gorgeous.
Thank you.
On the screen. So congratulations on that. I love we get some finality with Yabang. I do like that we get that face off because Tommy has gone crazy this entire time, and he is the only cop still standing since 6. So what was it like actually finishing that storyline off?
It was bittersweet. I will say this, Rick used to survive. He was one of the core survivors in the original script when I wrote this film 6 years ago.
Wow.
There was a whole additional scene where, they got out into the hospital parking lot and they, everything was kind of messed up. So they ran across the street to where the police station was. And there was a showdown that happened in the police station, and the person who was supposed to get smashed to pieces was Deputy Dispatch, who was there, who sort of comes in guns blazing, trying to impress the boss, and ends up getting himself murdered pretty hard. And there was a scene where, like Jason took a bullet to the face from Rick, and there was a whole sequence where it split the ghost hawk in half. And the mask fell off, and we're gonna do a face reveal, and then Deputy Dickhead comes in and starts shooting up the jail cells. Jason chases after him, ends up killing him in a back equipment hallway, and in that equipment hallway, he sees his original mask from Part 7, all like stitched back together, and he takes that and puts on his original mask and continues the rest of the movie as his original self. This was like the big idea, big budget studio version of it,
right?
But obviously when we're doing a fan film, we had to scale it back. So when we scaled it all the way back, bringing it back to the original question, I had to look at Rick and go like, I think it's time for Rick to meet his end. But in the end, you're looking at your arc is this. It is, you've been blaming Tommy for all these years. It's not entirely your fault. The curse has been nudging you in that direction. The dream that he has, obviously we see what he's thinking about. We see that he's researching Tommy, that he can't put together any other pieces but Tommy being the bad guy here.
Right.
But for him to sort of come to the realization that he is wrong and then put his life on the line so everyone else can escape is sort of a redemption arc for him. Now, it's not a full, you can't fully forgive him for everything, but you can't blame him for trying type thing.
Right.
So I just wanted Rick, if anything, to go out in a blaze of glory. He's been talking all this smack for 2 movies, the laser gun, the whole thing. So we just wanted to unleash him and see Rick at full power. And I gotta say, I think my favorite line in the movie is, Tommy telling Rick, like, you don't know what you're dealing with, and he goes, it's the other way around. Just such a, I don't know.
It's a cowboy act. And he's like, "Oh, you're dead."
Oh my God. I know. He's like, "Oh my God." You know what I mean? It's just I think that was the fun. I think that's where the fun part of the film comes. We don't like. Obviously, we wanted it to be serious, and we kept a serious tone. But at the same time, this is a Friday the 13th film. We do want to have a little bit of fun.
Right.
Can't be boring all the time. So yeah, having Rick there really kind of like brightened up the scenes, and every scene that Vinny was in, he brought a lot. So I was just very fortunate to work with him as over all these over the last 2 films and over all these years, and it's just been a pleasure. So I was sad to see him go, but at the same time, we're not getting any more of these films going to the future. So
Right.
Rick, if we ever Van, if we ever do another one, it would be in the past anyway, so you're still alive. So don't worry about it.
Right. Yeah, and you do end the movie in a very like, is he or isn't he kind of way. And is that set on purpose? Do you still have stories that you keep thinking of?
Listen, I could tell a new Friday the 13th story every year. I mean, I would never stop. I can go in both directions. I could, I can tell stories of the past, of the future, whatever. I think that, I've said this since day one, like, you can't really close the door on Friday the 13th. And I think if you do, it's sort of disservice to the fans to say like, no, we killed Jason. Ha ha. That's it. It's like, no, we wanted to say that like, if Jason wanted to, he can get right back up, put his head on and keep going.
Right.
It wouldn't even matter. You know what I mean? I think what I wanted to say with this was that Jason is finally at rest. When we get to the end of the movie, this is going to be a complete spoiler cast, but I mean, it's been out for 2 weeks. We already got
it's gotten 1 million.
Yeah, come on, it's the million. It's spoiler free. It's gone after 1 million views. So
that's right.
When I think Tommy is half right. I've been alluding to this that Tommy is half right. Yes, when Jason destroys that head, he feels like he has nothing left to be here for. And when that happens, his mother's spirit shows up to reassure him that she wasn't in the head. He didn't really have to protect the head.
Right.
She was there all along, and she'll always be there. And he doesn't have to stay there, and he doesn't have to do anything. He can just rest. He doesn't have to come back from the dead to protect her. Her spirit is intact. Her spirit is in the lake. So he can join her in the lake, and they can be together again. And let's leave all this behind us. It's time to move on. Right. And so Jason at the bottom of the lake is that bubble a hey, I'm still coming for you, or is a sort of relief? I'm here to rest. And then obviously we have our post credit scene, and I think that was It's kind of like a double meaning. One, we wanted to get everybody an answer to who Hikerman 5000 is, because he obviously was a fan favorite coming out of the first one. Everybody wanted to, like, Hikerman 5000 became like a big hit. And so for a long time I've been like, I want to bring Hikerman 5000 to the screen. And Hikerman 5000 embodies womp stomp energy. When the studios won't make it for you, make it yourself.
Right.
I mean, so it's sort of like an echoed version of, like, Ryan, who's a really good friend of mine. He's playing me. That's me on stage saying, hey, you know what, studios, if you're not going to make Friday the 13th, I'm going to do it. And just like, me, Ryan's out there saying, hey, if Andrew's going to shut down the site and he's not going to be a trail junkie, well, I'm going to be the trail junkie and I'm going to pick up right where he left off, which, and just like, and so it's kind of funny that he, in a way, sort of is going to, they just spent all this time putting Jason away and he could potentially undo it all, which is really fun. And I will say that there is a story that I could tell with Ryan's character that would be really earnest and sweet. And as a spoiler alert, it would have nothing to do with Jason, but there is a horror movie involved that he can get himself into a lot of trouble. And we've talked about it, me and the Honest of the Odd guys, about maybe telling his story someday.
Right.
It would technically be part of the Never Hike Alone verse, but I think we'd call it Hikerman 5000.
You have to.
but yeah, I think that, like, it's this going to be the story of this kid who gets in over his head more than he knows. And it's also a story of don't meet your heroes.
Wow.
So it's kind of a little twist, Kyle in there, where what really did happen to Kyle after Never Hike Alone? Because he seemed fine leaving. Right. But as we know, the curse works in mysterious ways.
Wow.
So you know what I mean? And that actually stems back to the original sequel to Never Hike Alone that I came up with maybe 7 years ago, where the whole premise of the story was that Kyle went missing. He came back, he survived, everything looked good for a while, and then one day he disappeared and nobody knows where he is. And so it's sort of like a little bit of that. It's like, where did Kyle go? What happened to Kyle? You got, the guy kicking around where he last was. And then we sort of kind of play it out from there as its own little cat and mouse game.
Wow. Yeah, that sounds really dope, man. Dang. All right. Well, I don't want to take too much more of your time. I do got one more question before we plug that Indiegogo. Earlier this year, I watched a film, 13 Fanboy. Okay. And you are in this film and produced that I saw. And I found it wildly interesting that not only do you play yourself, you actually play like the killer. And I just want to know, what was it like getting that, like, hey, by the way, you're going to be the one doing it all?
Yeah. So how about I found that out the first day on set? I knew that I was going to be stunt doubling. That's what I was told, that I would be the stunt double. I'd be doing all the action scenes, and I had done it for the teaser too. So I wasn't surprised by that. And I, the whole time as I watched it grow, I was like, this is going to be cool. This is going to be cool. I'm going to get to go fight Kane Hodder and CJ Graham and, all these different things. And I got to be prepared for this role. And Deb wanted to keep the role so secret. She didn't even tell me until I got there. And she just trusted me that I could learn dialogue that fast and do it. And luckily for her, like, it's actually a pretty good trait of mine that I can memorize. I can memorize scenes pretty quickly if given the chance to just study it for a little bit.
Right.
And from there, it was just a dream come true. I get to work with some of my heroes. Like I said, got to fight Kane Hodder, got to fight CJ Graham, got to murder a bunch of people, got to put a drill through Tracy Savage's head, which started the relationship that now she does. She is our in-house news reporter for the Never Hike Alone series. Right. So, you know what I mean? So it's definitely opened up a lot of doors for me. It was a great experience. I think when Deb told me, I kind of said, like, you know what, Deb, it kind of makes sense. I am that fan. Like, I am that guy who's that obsessed. I just happen to put all my energy into making a movie rather than killing all of you.
Right.
So be thankful that we grew up in that multiverse and not the other.
I love that.
But it's kind of funny. And so, like, when I approached playing myself as this character, I just sort of, said like, what would happen if, I did all the work that I did and then every alumni I talked to snubbed me and made me feel like crap and like all these different things. Like, where would I be emotionally? And I just sort of went there, and then just, Deb's dialogue did the rest. She had me doing a bunch of really weird stuff, and I was just like, whatever you want, Deb, I got you. Like, let's do it. So it was a fun time. I got to, and I got to hang out with Andrew Lady. I got to hang out with Haley Greenbauer, so the three of us who are friends, in real life, getting to chill and,
Make
basically be flown to New Mexico, make a movie. It was a really, it was just a really great experience all around.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I do enjoy the film, and you should check that out as well as Never Hike Alone 2, which right now is on YouTube on Womp Stomp Films YouTube page. You also have an Indiegogo where today you released that you can get the Ghost Jason mask if you back it. I got my Blu-ray pre-ordered, ready to come in February, so I'm excited. But yes, please plug away all the stuff.
Yeah, so we're going to keep the Indiegogo open through at least the end of the year, if not into early next year, for all pre-orders and Blu-rays. I'm going to be spending the next few months getting all of the fulfillment stuff ready. We have to order more stuff because obviously we sold more stuff than last year. So we got that working for us. So if you want to go to the Indiegogo, you can get there like through any of our pages. In fact, there's a link under the Never Hike Alone 2 YouTube page that will bring you right to it. We have normal Blu-rays, the first edition. We have the Jarvis versus Jason Blu-rays, which will be coming in red cases. We may be also including a second disc where you can add a legacy disc to your case. So say you wanted to put the Ghost Cut and Never Hike Alone 2 in one case. That would be a pretty good way to do it, right? So, yeah, so we're doing that. So we're working on that stuff. Obviously, we released the Battle Hawk today. So the version of the mask with the axe mark and the shotgun blast is now available both as a combo pack and as a singular mask. And we have a few more things that are going to be releasing over the next few weeks. Now that the film is out, there are certain props that we no longer have to hide, like a headless Jason corpse that we pulled up from the bottom of the lake, and all of the effects that were worn by our actors who were hit with axes or arrows or any of those things. All of those things are going to start to become available. You'll be able to own a piece of the movie. We do have associate producers and co-producers who back the film who are going to get to pick through the pile first. But once they're done, we have a lot of really cool stuff for people to get, and then we got to do all that stuff. Obviously the film is playing on YouTube, so watch it. Also watch the other films if you haven't. So watch the Ghost Cut, watch Never Hike Alone, Never Hike in the Snow, Disappeared. Let's get those play counts up and send a message to this that when it's time to bring back into the big screen, that they already got the person they need. He's right here, and we'd be happy to take the mantle and do the things that we're doing now on a much bigger scale. And just like that scene that I pitched to you before, we don't have to do the low budget version anymore. Like, let's go to some of these ideas that I have that are up in that echelon of fun, doing things with Jason we've never seen before, and keeping it in a storyline that fans are going to accept and say, I can accept this as my Jason. Please keep giving me more.
Right. Oh my God. Well, Vincent DiSanti, I am praying that day comes that I get to go to the movie theater and see you direct a Friday the 13th film. Make sure you follow all his stuff. Thank you once again for coming on, man.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so excited.
I gotta say, okay, let's talk Red Vein for a little bit.
Let's.
I don't know if there's a better version of just 4 houses.
What's wrong?
You don't hear this?
Yeah, I hear all of it. But like, we saw the behind the scenes. We saw how much goes into this.
Like,
Okay, but we did
Like,
not
I
see
can't tell you.
intense,
I can't
actually,
tell
in there.
you the like behind the scenes. But this is a behind the scenes thing. I do want to tell you. I wasn't prepared for how many fucking cars were here.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
yeah.
the actor side, because I was
Yeah, we
like,
got to park with the
you
scare
did
actors.
I was like, that's a lot of cars. I even mentioned it to him. I'm like, that can't.
Have
be
you heard
all
of carpooling?
Scared.
But on the real
There's
though,
this thing called the environment. I love you, baby. I love you.
On
Sustainability.
Yeah, come on,
Where?
people. Carpool.
Scares
I think people are
and
coming up. People are
sustainability.
coming
Are they
up.
coming up?
Oh my gosh.
Oh, yep.
A
I see
kid
people.
was.
Woo!
They survived.
You survived it. You did it. You made it
Fantastic.
through.
Did it.
I love it. Hi.
Dude, the end, that was freaking awesome,
Come here.
Please,
Come
talk about it.
Come. That's why I want to
Where did
hear.
you get that head from?
I'm not a part of this. We're Hunters Podcast.
Yes.
We're going to go in a little bit. We're media. No big deal.
All right.
Shut up. Shut up, Ted. So, how was that for y'all?
Really
Awesome,
scary.
dude. It's like
Really
10 times
awesome.
better than Kings of Minion, I can tell you that.
Oh,
I
okay.
think they got
What was your favorite part?
the end.
The end?
No spoilers for the end. We haven't gone through
we
yet.
haven't done it
But the end. Okay. No, that's
No,
great.
you're great, but I did see that you got marked.
All of you got marked?
Yeah, we had the
Did you have a
fast pass.
choice?
They were behind
Yes,
us.
they gave you a choice.
And you all chose to get marked?
Yeah.
What is wrong with you?
I highly recommend getting
That's what
marked.
he wants.
Definitely get
I
marked.
recommend
That-
getting
that's
Part
marked.
of the experience. Get
It's
marked.
part of it? Okay.
And I think
Okay.
it might be a little
So-
bit longer too. I don't know.
Ooh.
They veered us off for a little while when we
Yeah.
went halfway through it. And
All
they
right.
kind
God.
of veered us off to somewhere else, and we went through all the other stuff.
Interesting.
Oh.
Did you get to see
I would
wolves?
definitely get marked.
Werewolves?
If you're
No
gonna get
spoilers.
marked.
No spoilers.
Can't spoil
God,
it. Can't spoil it.
don't use my words against me. Don't you do that to me.
We got Kings of Minion season passes.
Yeah.
We've been to Kings
Yeah,
of Minion a
us
bunch,
as well.
bunch of
Yeah?
times, gone through that, and that
And this just did it for
Way
you.
better. Yeah.
Hey, how many
Awesome.
times have you been
mediocre
through
compared to that.
Is
Have you
this
ever
your
been to
first?
Red Bay
This is
before?
my first. This is
So
our
I
first.
work at the farm, and
Oh,
I've been
okay.
through here every
She
year
does a
for the
tiki
past
five-0.
5 years.
Oh, gotcha.
This is the best year that I've seen.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
And some
Shit.
first timers
Oh,
over
sorry.
here as
And
well.
first
Timers
timers,
over
never
here.
been
So
before.
They've never
We don't
been
even know
through
these people.
before.
We
I don't even know who you are.
just
We just got
behind them.
Our fearless leader. because we were
Yeah. Only reason we got past it.
This is how relationships start. Awesome.
love
Well, I'm
it.
glad
Thank
you guys
you,
had a fun
guys.
time. There's a gift shop right here with
It's
great
so cool.
stuff.
Yeah.
Go find some cool
Yeah.
stuff. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thanks for
Thank
stopping
you.
by.
Have a good
Hunters
night.
Podcast, if you want to check it out. How are you? We're
How you doing?
good. We're Hunters Podcast.
No, you're good. You're good. Just
You're great.
yeah, it's
No,
just
no,
the
no.
mic picking you
Yeah,
up.
I just want to make sure.
No?
That, yeah, we're video.
Oh, sweet.
We're video. But
Yeah.
yeah. So you're marked.
Yeah.
How was that for you?
Being marked?
Yeah,
Yeah.
like for this.
Why did you choose to get marked?
Oh, I just thought it was something you got on the Fast Pass.
Oh, so the fast passes get it.
Yeah,
Okay.
but I don't know if everyone's getting it or not, but I know that everyone on the Fast Pass got it.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah, so I don't
okay.
know if that's just something they're doing for the Fast
So-
Pass or that's just something they're doing in general.
General?
Gotcha.
You know,
Okay.
Did you have a favorite part?
Honestly, just like the atmosphere, like they did a really good job at like putting everything together. If
Right.
that makes
Okay.
sense.
The four
Yeah, I mean, like there
houses.
was like definitely
Right.
different themes. You could pick on all the different themes
Yeah.
when you walk through it, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You could tell a lot of like time and effort was put into like the
Oh,
actual
1 million.
thought behind it. So
Yeah.
that was like
No, this
honestly
is a
really
different
impressive.
kind of hunt. It's
Yeah,
a
no,
different.
definitely.
It's a different
Yeah.
atmosphere.
Have you been here before? Or is this
I haven't been at this before. One
Okay.
before, but I
really?
do something like this like every year in general.
Right.
So, but this is definitely like a different theme than what like I'm typically used to, kind of thing. I
Right.
really enjoyed it. They timed like a lot of the scares efficiently, and a lot of people who you don't recognize, like they'll follow you just to
Right.
try to get you again. So if you're not like if you're not aware of like the person that tailing you right after they scare you, they'll get you another time. So
They
that was
keep
like
So
going
I'm
for you.
screwed.
yeah, you're done. You're done, son. Okay. So this was werewolf theme. Is there a lot of werewolves?
oh, tons of werewolves.
Okay.
Tons.
That's
Yeah,
what I
tons.
needed,
Yeah,
because,
tons.
like-
and there was like a huge one that like popped out of the wall.
Oh,
Yeah.
don't tell us where. I need to see what happens.
Yeah, it literally comes and it's just like it's
That's
all in your face. Yeah, but
fantastic.
there's a lot of werewolves. And
Wow.
They stick with the theme. A lot of them talk about like the lambs. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
our lambs.
Lambs
are
is a
coming
big
in.
thing.
Oh my
here.
gosh.
Lambs is a big thing here. Okay, they're selling it on panties in there. That's how
Yeah.
big lambs are.
Yeah,
okay?
yep.
That's a good selling point.
Thank you for
Yes,
dropping
thank
by.
you.
Hunters Podcast, if you want to check us out.
All right, perfect. Well, have a good
guys,
night.
have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
you too.
Thank
Thank you so much.
All right, yeah, another satisfied customer.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
how we put it.
Yeah, yeah.
But is it sounding like we have a choice in getting marks or not?
I'm
I feel
not-
Like we
I-
don't have a choice.
Well, because he was saying it's fast pass, and like it's
But
wild.
everybody
This
I
is the
see.
first.
Did you guys get marked?
Did you get marked? No
you get the
mark?
mark?
No mark. Okay, come here. No markings. No markings.
You got marked? Oh my gosh.
So the no markings.
Did you get a choice?
Did they say, hey, do you want to be
You
marked?
got a choice.
All right, good to
Okay.
know. So they are doing the thing again. You can choice it.
Choice it.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Okay, so she's taking a photo
Yeah.
with the guts.
Yeah,
when
good
she
picture. I
is-
gotta post that.
Walking by,
Yeah.
I'm going
You
to
got
ask her
questions?
why. Yeah, why did she choose?
Getting
Oh my
not.
God, Kitty is the sweetest. Oh my God, can I just tell you? That
Yeah.
might be my favorite thing ever. So Kitty just walked up to them and was like, "Do you want me to take your photo? Because you're supposed to go behind that so that it's like your intestines are being like ripped out and it's like creepy."
It's probably the best photo op.
No, it's
I've
a
ever
really good
seen.
photo op.
And they do a lot. So we took one.
But Kitty is
earlier.
just so helpful.
Yeah, she wants to satisfy everybody. You know what I mean?
She does. Oh my God. I feel like she's
but,
like angling right now. Like it's,
yeah.
oh my
So
God.
like when I came for Friday the 13th with
Yes.
Teen Hill,
Yes.
that photo op by the cabin was at Ashland Theater. Like they built it for that, so you could take a picture with Jason and Freddy. And
So
you can see
wait,
that on
you
Insta.
said you chose to get marked?
You chose to get marked.
Why?
Why? What was the
Yeah,
like,
what was
hey,
the-
get marked and maybe you'll get trippy? Is that what happened? I'm in
Okay,
for it.
so you
Yeah,
were.
yeah.
Is this your first
Wow,
time
up
here?
for anything, you
Yes.
know? I
What
like
was
this
what was
stuff.
your favorite part? Without spoilers, what was your
No
favorite
spoilers
part?
because
We
we're
haven't
going
gone
through
through.
later.
I'm nervous.
We're doing our podcast, Hunter's podcast right
Yeah.
now. So I can't wait to go through.
The Wolf,
The Wolf
King?
King?
Oh my
There's
God.
a fucking king! Sorry! I didn't
Children!
know! Sorry, kids!
Thank you.
Oh my
Thank
God,
you.
the worst
A
thing that
king?
they've seen tonight. Some of these parents have let their kids get marked. The F-bomb is the worst thing.
I don't know
Oh my
what's
God.
happening. I'm sorry about my mouth right there. Because I wasn't prepared for a wolf king.
You can bleep it.
Yeah, they heard it already. Wow.
Oh my
Okay, so
gosh.
we've gotten a couple of more reactions. Okay, so we just got out of Red Vein 1999. I need to think about what I want to say. I want to be for sure of what I'm going to say. So go for it.
Okay, well, I was given dirt
At the beginning,
at
and
the
you can hear
beginning,
this in the recording that we released.
prior to going into the haunt, and I was told to hold on to that dirt, and I held on to it
Yeah,
the entire fucking time.
Yeah.
Also, as you can see, I was marked.
which has never been done.
No.
This was the first time.
I was given a choice of yes or yes.
Yeah.
You took the drugs, man.
We got our V, double V. We got our double V, which
I'm
we
gonna
were
tell you
supposed to
what.
take.
And again, they handed it to me, and I took it. Yeah,
Immediately. You
feeling
didn't
like it
even
was like,
fucking wait.
I didn't
You didn't even
care.
wait.
I was like, oh, thanks for the drugs, man. I'm just gonna have fun tonight. And I had fun.
My first bit of what I'd like to say is that it is very scary.
Yeah.
It is very adult themed.
Very.
And I panicked a lot. And I fell in this house.
You fell into one of the scare actors' doors.
Yeah.
I fell on top of you.
Yeah. I fucking fell. And it was legitimate fall.
I will say, it took us about 30 minutes to go through the haunt.
Yep.
So, well worth
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah.
I did check my heart
Yeah.
at one point, and it was up to 122 beats per minute.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
Okay. How about these kids?
Oh man. Give it a go, girl.
No, you go first.
Oh, how's
No,
that
that
voice?
voice.
Look at that
Yeah,
voice.
super scary. Just a hell of a good time. 30 minutes, like you were saying, Brooke. It's well worth it.
It never ended.
It doesn't end. It keeps going, and every time you're like, oh, there's this little facade that we saw. It can't be that long. It goes.
Keeps
It
going.
goes.
Yeah.
And when you think it's done, it goes some more. And yeah, just a hell of a job. Mwah, Jeff's kiss.
Jeff's kiss.
Jeff's kiss for all the scare actors in there.
Well, I thought I was getting my voice back.
It's gone now, girl.
Gone again. Lots of screaming, lots of smells, lots of
Oh God, the
smells.
smells, yeah.
Yeah.
Not as bad as in years past, but
Intense. No, different smells.
Yeah.
Just a
a
lot.
great story as well.
Yes.
Wonderful story.
Wonderful
throughout.
story.
Great theme.
The corn.
Yeah.
What about corn?
Corn. I love it.
No,
Yeah, I
but
really
just like
liked when
walking,
Adidas started playing.
Yeah.
Walking through I was terrified the entire time.
Right.
Like, truly, honestly, terrified the entire time. I said I quit multiple times and no one cared.
Yeah.
This was not an I
It
quit
was
match.
fantastic.
This
Hands
was a
down,
last man
though,
standing.
the use of scare actors to animatronics to lighting to sounds to location of things, you didn't know where things were going to come from. Like, there were so many surprises. You also thought that you were like, okay, got this scare, got it. They were following you. They were popping up in different I'm so blown away by how well this houses
There were
put
even
together.
scare actors that looked really fake, and you
Yes.
walked past
Oh.
them just calmly until you realized they were
So they were in
totally
your
real,
face and you were about to
Screaming at
clinch.
you.
Zach was against a wall.
running.
I absolutely agree with everything that you guys have said, and we've done this show for 5 years now, and I am proud to say this is the favorite haunt I've ever been through. This one
Wow.
right here.
Yeah.
This is top notch, the best thing I have been through haunt wise. Because let me tell you, this is absolutely my favorite haunt I've ever been through. And I appreciate Red Vein for having us out and doing this and talking to the people beforehand. This has been a fucking amazing capper to an amazing season. I'd like to thank everybody for everything that they've ever done for us.
Still
The
can't
fans,
breathe.
listeners, viewers, haunts, you guys are all amazing. I appreciate you guys. Wonderful. Brooke 2, Brooke 1. This is
was a
amazing.
great haunt season.
This has been my favorite haunt. 5 years, favorite haunt season.
Yeah.
So for Zach, for Wendy, for Brooke, for Brooke 2.
I feel like we
That's
should
it, I
have
quit.
little like subtitles of what our future holds.
I quit. I quit. I quit.
I quit, Zach.
I quit. Good. You're fired.
You know what? I'm taking half the show with me, man.
Okay. Good luck. Oh. Well,
Guess it's us now.
I guess it's us now. Haha, change the YouTube password. All right, everybody, have a good one.
Happy
Happy
spookies.
Halloween.
You know what to say.
Stay scary, my friends.